princess and the pizza. Does it sound familiar? Does it sound like maybe another fairy tale?
Yeah.
It sounds like a
Princess and the Frog.
I read this before.
Princess Paulina needed a job. Her father had given up his throne to become a wood carver and moved them to a humble shack in a neighboring kingdom. Since the king was still learning, his carvings didn't sell. And Paulina's garden barely kept enough on the table. Paulina really missed princessing. That could be a verb. She missed walking the peacock in the royal garden, surveying the kingdom from the castle tower, and doing the princess wave in royal processions. It'd be fun to be a princess.
No.
Probably not for that.
No.
Paulina tried walking a stray chicken around her shack, but it only pecked at her bare toes. Surveying the kingdom from the shack's leaky roof made even more holes. She tried princess waving to the townspeople from her father's cart, but nobody even bothered to wave back. They just thought she was swatting at flies. Doesn't seem very royalish, does it, to be?
I don't think Roy is Gramentine. Poor little girl.
One day, a page rode past the shack, announcing that Queen Zelda of Blom was seeking a true princess to become the bride of her son, Prince Drupert. This is my chance to get back to princessing, Paulina cried. She rummaged through her trunk of ex-princess stuff, brushed the wood shavings from her best ball gown, and blew away the bits of sawdust that clung to her diamond tiara. Then she tucked a piece of garlic into her bodice for good luck. It's in her dress. Snipped some fragrant herbs to cover up the garlic smell, and headed for the castle.
Can I see them down here? Garlic is not lucky. It's true.
I'm glad none of you bring garlic to school. That's pretty strong stuff. Paulina didn't expect too much competition. There wasn't another princess for hundreds of miles. But when she got to Blom Castle, Paulina found she was only one of 12 princesses hoping to become the royal bride. When she looked into her assigned room, Paulina saw her bed piled with 16 mattresses. Oh, for Pete's sake. The old princess and the pea trick. That is so Once Upon a Time. Naturally, Paulina didn't sleep all night because she felt the lumpy pea through all of those mattresses.
One of them looks like Rapunzel.
Can I see?
Yeah, there's like
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it might be all different.
Wait, can I see it?
It's really good. But I can see it's
When the 12 princesses gathered in the throne room the next morning, the 7, who looked bright-eyed, were sent home. Why do you think they were sent home?
because they probably weren't.
They didn't feel the pea. They just had a sound sleep. They weren't tossing and turning. Now, only Paulina and 4 other sleepy princesses remained. First, they were made to write essays entitled, "Why I Want to Have the Gracious and Exquisitely Beautiful Queen Zelda for My Mother-in-Law." Prince Drupert and Queen Zelda finally appeared on the balcony. Queen Zelda did all the talking. "Congratulations, ladies. You have written some lovely essays, which I will keep in my scrapbook. And you have all passed the mattress test. But, to make absolutely sure you are of royal blood, there is a second test. Only a true princess can wear these glass slippers." Oh, for Pete's sake, have you never heard of sneakers? Paulina asked. Queen Zelda gave Paulina a sharp look. "Nobody said you have to hike in them, just try them on."
Is that the king you're talking about?
That's the
Queen.
queen. I know. After the royal page made his way around the room, with the slippers, 2 big-footed princesses were sent home. Now, only Paulina and 2 others remained. One was followed around by 7 strange little men, and the other had such a long braid dragging behind her that Paulina kept tripping over it.
Rapunzel and Snow White.
Good observation.
Sake,
For Pete's sake, you ever heard of scissors? Paulina cried. Queen Zelda glared at Paulina. "All right, you have all passed the second princess test. Your final task cook a feast that proves you are worthy of being my dear Drupert's wife.
Is she eating pizza? Oh, she cooks the... Oh, you'll see. Oh my god.
Read the book.
This set up a wail among the princesses, especially Paulina. For Pete's sake, you don't have a royal chef around here? A little bit so sassy. Silence, said the queen. The table holds the makings for 3 fine feasts. Choose well, for the winner will become my dear Drupert's bride.
You said that. She said
As Paulina started for the table, the long-haired princess tripped her, then loaded up with food. By the time Paulina got there, the 7 strange little men had run off with everything, except for some flour, yeast, water, 3 overripe tomatoes, and a hunk of stale cheese. Hey, that's not fair!
You think if Rapunzel...
Queen Zelda, will you help me?
You
No, said the queen.
You think if Rapunzel was like this in the story, you would have that? Yeah, I would
Pizza.
have just been going right down.
She
in
said
minutes.
no because you have a big mouth.
it.
A servant escorted Paulina to her room and locked the door. Hey, how can I cook without a bowl or spoons or pots? There was no reply. Paulina tried to make bread, kneading the flour, water, and yeast together, but it only stuck to the tray in a flattened mess. She squished the tomatoes over the dough to brighten it up. It looked awful. She sprinkled cheese gratings over the top. It was still a mess, and Paulina was exhausted. For Pete's sake, where's your fairy godmother when you need her? She doesn't seem very princessly, does she?
Yeah.
I'm just going to take a nap. She reached under the pile of mattresses, pulled out the one offending pea, and climbed into bed.
Where?
Ooh.
Where?
I see it.
She hadn't been sleeping long when there was a knock at the door. Only 20 minutes left, called Queen Zelda. I don't smell anything cooking in there. Oh, I'm not cooking, said Paulina. I'm napping, then I'm going home. You're not going anywhere, said the queen. The losers will be beheaded.
Goodness.
Paulina sat bolt upright. That's pretty harsh.
Yeah.
Beheaded?
She's going to cut off her head.
You didn't tell us that.
If she
Oh,
loses,
sorry.
she's going to get
I
her
forgot.
head cut off.
You wouldn't want to forget that detail.
Yeah.
Okay, wait a second. Could I have a second chance? How about this? How about I try to spin straw into gold? Or maybe I could guess a weird little man's name. No second chances, declared the queen. But that's not fair, Paulina cried.
Let's start working right now.
Who needs to be fair?
Queen Zelda of the unfairness.
Paulina leaped out of bed, ran to the window, but it was an unbelievably long drop to the ground. What was she thinking about doing?
Jumping
out of the
Escaping.
tower.
The meal was her only hope. She rushed the tray over to the fireplace, stirred the few remaining hot coals, then crushed her garlic and sprinkled it over the mess for good luck. Finally, Paulina tossed on the herbs to cover up the garlic smell. I was thinking that too. Paulina paced back and forth, planning her escape. Perhaps she could make a deal with the long-haired princess to climb down her braid. She didn't notice that the goopy dough had browned into a crust. The tomatoes were bubbling, the hard bits of cheese had melted, and the fragrance of garlic and herbs filled the room. A page opened the door. Time's up. Paulina took a deep breath, carried her tray into the great dining room. She definitely has a little bit of a worried look on her face, doesn't she?
But yeah.
She should at least wear in the guy.
The other princesses had made lovely feasts, especially the one who had 7 strange little men to help her. Prince Drupert went right to Paulina's tray. It's not pretty, but it smells scrumptious. He helped himself to an unusually generous piece. What do you call this dish? Paulina shrugged. I don't know. It cannot be an official entry in the contest if it doesn't have a name, said the queen. Oh, for Pete's sake. Not really that respectful, Paulina muttered. What's that? Snapped the queen. Pete's what? Remembering the beheading threat, Paulina frantically tried to think of a name. Yeah, I just said it's Pete's,
Pizza.
Pizza? The queen took a big bite. Odd name, but it's pretty tasty. The winner is Paulina's Pizza. You mean I won't be beheaded? Oh, I was only kidding about that, said the queen.
That's pretty good.
Then I was only kidding about wanting to marry Prince Drupert. Who needs him? I have other plans. Could you at least leave that recipe? Said the queen. No way, said Paulina. It has just become a family secret. She headed for the door. I liked you the best, whined the queen, following close behind. Oh, for Pete's sake, muttered Paulina as she stomped across the drawbridge.
She's at least said it 4 times.
It'd be interesting to count how many times she said that.
4 or 5 times.
Princess Paulina's Pizza Palace, it's a good alliteration. Princess Paulina's Pizza Palace opened a few weeks later. It featured unusual carved furniture and 50 kinds of pizza. Every Thursday on the royal chef's night off, Queen Zelda and Prince Drupert came to Paulina's for popcorn pineapple pizza. They often stayed to play cards with Paulina's father. Look at the time. Butterscotch broccoli, chocolate chicken, pickled parsnip, rosemary rhubarb, avocado, apricot.
Ew. Cheese are much better.
From then on, whenever Paulina drove her pizza delivery cart through
Those are just
town,
today's specials.
doing the princess
Not
wave,
just the whole menu. Those are
everybody
specials.
waved back and ran after her, asking about the day's specials. Life
Just today's specials.
was good. Paulina was grateful not to have Queen Zelda for a mother-in-law, but she's still worried about one little thing.
She uses a piece of
To make the horse move.
She worried about getting Queen Zelda as her stepmother. What does that mean happening?
Her dad. No, her dad was
She's still
cheating.
videotaping.
So what? A what? What happened? Cheating.
So,
What?
Nothing.
Because she has no.
wait a minute.
I think
Turn around.
Zelda.
Look at Sammy. Say bye.
Bye.